Hey you guys, what it do? What's up? Your girl G here. Welcome back to my channel. Just coming to give you guys a quick little recap of Real Housewives of New York, you guys. The new era of New York, It's starting to look like it needs to be the new era of Housewives, period. That done got rid of you old hags in the famous words of Jessel, okay, and replaced y'all with the new ones. And it's kind of looking like that needs to be done with the rest of them. So Atlanta Housewives, OC, um, Miami. They could probably keep Miami. Add a couple of new girls because Alexia, I can't stand Alexia. New Jersey, they actually just added new people from New Jersey, so that might be okay. But definitely, it's looking like Atlanta Housewives is on the market for a new era. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into New York. Coming to y'all hot, living in Texas. It has been above 100 every day of the freaking week. That's why I ain't rocking nothing but a sports bra this whole damn time. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the episode, you guys. So we open up with scenes kind of going in between Brynn and Jessel and Erin and Ubah. So Brynn and Jessel, they basically go to her favorite spot to shop and spend her husband's money like a good rich white woman does or rich Indian woman does. And her and Brynn just basically kind of catch up on how she's feeling after everything, her lunch with Erin, and Erin's doing the same thing with Ubah, like on her side of things. Ubah ends up taking Erin to her jeweler for her engagement party. Erin is having her 10-year engagement party, and she needs, some diamonds. She needs that wet that work with it, them shinies, okay? So Ubah, she met a jeweler through like a freaking like Prince charity, okay? So money, all right? So they going through the earrings, and this is what we need our housewives, okay? The money, the luxury. See, this is what we talking about. They knew they had to add it on New York because that's what we come here for, the rich lifestyles that we can't afford. Okay, we want to live vicariously through y'all. That's what we want to do. Because I know I can't afford no goddamn $225,000 earrings, but I want to see hoes who can. Okay, I know I'm already broke, but like, damn, let me visualize, let me make up in my head that a hoe got some money, okay? Try to get out this reality of the fact that we all out here broke due to inflation, okay? But yeah, no, so it was like, yeah, he has the best diamonds, da 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 da. So Erin's going through, they got a diamond purse, they got diamond earrings that was just, the pink ones were gorgeous. Bangles, everything. And so Ubah and Erin sit down and basically catch up. And both Jessel and Erin basically were like, there was apology there. Yes, we bumped heads. But we're just gonna try to start over. Jessel's like, I'm not bringing it up at the party, obviously. Like, I just really want to like move past this. Erin basically kind of same thing. She's like, I'm just ready to have fun with Jessel. Like, it's a lot. Um, Brynn, I tell you, she's something else. Boy, she tap dances right on that line, don't she? And sometimes that big toe step across. Okay, this episode, that big toe was stepping across that line, Brynn. I'm sorry, girl. Love you, but I gotta call you out. We'll talk about when we get there. But yeah, basically, Jessel and Erin at the beginning of the episode were just kind of like, we're just gonna like restart and let the apology be what it was and start over. Brynn's like, yeah, I just want to do something black tie, something real cute and formal, and then come out in a dress where literally half her back is out, side titty open. Like, Brynn is something else. Um, so yeah, so we move on. Jenna, you guys, she has gotten into her new thing, which is interior designing. She's like, after I left J. Crew, I just started thinking of like, other passions I had. And she was like, I did some interior designing for, my home that I bought. And everybody, like, she was like, I got more attraction to that than I did in the fashion industry. Like people were more into my interior designing. People love good interior designing, like because your house is your humble abode. Like you want like the way you curate it, decorate it, like everything. Like it says a lot about the flow of your house. The flow of your energy. Like it's a thing, okay? And in my head, I'll be picturing interior designing, if I were to have money. And of course, I interior design with, the little ducats I do have. Like recently, your girl just bought a new comforter. I'm about to wash it. I ordered it in the mail, so I'm going to wash it because, I always got to wash your stuff before you whether it be clothes, anything, wash it before you put it on. Yeah, so I just got me a new comforter. It's got like a mandala on it. It's blue. It's gonna brighten up this it's gonna brighten up this place. What's that girl said off a beauty shop? You ain't trying to brighten up the place. You's trying to whiten up the place. Drop down the comments if you know that little saying that she did. But yeah, no. So it's curating interior designing. Like she basically was like, I got a lot more eyes on that. So I have more people coming to me. So she had a friend who just bought a place and was wanting her to do it, and she was just, of course, like asking questions. And the friend basically was like, "Girl, I gave you the money. You do what you do." She made a joke, and she was like, "If you feel like all the money needs to get blown on lights, then shit, well, look like I might be sleeping in the dark." Her friend was funny. But yeah, no, it definitely Jenna. This episode, we saw a lot more vulnerability. I definitely think the producers probably were pushing her to be a lot more open because, we don't really get a lot out of Jenna. And like, girl, if you want to stay in the show, you're gonna have to like bring it. So, yeah, later on the episode, you'll see what I'm talking about when we get into there. But yeah, that was a quick little scene. So we move on to Sai and her husband David. I actually, from what I see, I actually like Sai and David's relationship. Like, they seem to have just a really good camaraderie with each other. It feels like a basis of friendship, like just at the base, like friendship, is there. Um, yeah, it's just I really like David. Their son was coloring and he was getting markers on the damn rug. Saw was like, "Oh hell no, nah. Like we can't do this." So David moved up. That's the problem when you live in these rich places. They not really kid friendly. Like, yeah, you might got money, but make sure you have at least a designated kid area so you ain't always like on high alert for when they start messing shit up. So they moved the boy to the table, whatever, and then they basically start talking about what was going on. And Sai was just kind of telling David, like, all the girls, they were just kind of discussing Jessel and her feelings, basically feeling offended that Erin called her like a princess or basically or something like that. And um oh, and also as well that Jessel said that like she's not really like a supporter of women because when they had that lunch, because I didn't review last episode, when they had that lunch, like basically Erin, in a slight way, she did kind of like a little bit like, well, it was a little bit of a like microaggression that she was just kind of like almost like, what do you do exactly? Like you're spending your husband's money, and she's like, well, I'm also getting back into work, and then that's when Erin was like, oh, okay, well, like I don't know these things, you don't tell us. It's like she definitely kind of was looking at Jessel a little, down her nose. Um, and so yeah, Jessel picked up on it, but David, Sai's husband, basically was like, think about it for her. Like, she's probably had a hell of a year. She's got twins now. Twins. And them twins looking like they running her. And what's the husband's name? Pavi. I think that's his name. Pavi. It looked like they running them brakes down, okay? They are running their tires down to the brake pads, okay? Them kids look like they are hell on wheels. Like Brynn said the first episode, she's like, every time I see side kids, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to have one. Then I see Jessel's and it's like, nope, let me pop this plan B. So yeah, like girl, like we gotta feel for Sai in that little bit of aspect, especially just the struggle she had getting them, and so Sai's husband just kind of pointed that out, like, now she's a new mom and try to figure that out, and then having twins, and that changes the dynamic of her relationship, and then she's back starting this business, like taking this leap of starting her own business, and Sai's like, yeah, she's like, that's what it's I really love about David, because he always, you could tell David is like what helps bring Sai back to like her emotional place, and or just like thinking things from a more empathetic view, because Sai admitted in her confessional, she was like, I'm just one of those people, like, suck that shit up. Like, she's like a like a Dolores, from New Jersey. It's basically like, yeah, you crying, you can cry right now, give yourself 5 minutes, but suck that shit up, okay? Like, you can't complain, all right? And Sai's husband just kind of has to remind her, like, okay, at least think of her feelings, So, and then also too, she was like, David, he's a very involved father. Like, you know, I can't fault him. She's like, it just kind of really makes me like jealous and wish I had a dad, just like him, because I didn't, which a lot of us don't really have involved fathers, because as much as men always want to complain about, oh, fathers need to be more involved in their children's lives, y'all really don't want to be involved in y'all children's lives like that. Y'all want to be fathers, y'all want the titles, but y'all don't want to do the parenting work. But we see David, he really is about that talk, okay? For real, for real. We'll see later on the episode, because Sai, when she went to meet Erin, she was like, oh, where's David? And she's like, he stayed home. The babysitter was sick, and because the babysitter was sick, he stayed and watched his son. Like, how many men would really, truthfully, honestly do that? Not many. They would try to pass the kid off on to, let the older siblings watch him, or drop it off at a grand's house. That's how a lot of these niggas do. All right. But yeah, no, yeah, David, I'm really liking David and Sai's relationship. Um, and just what David seems to be doing for Sai, as in, like, girl, okay, yeah, you right at the base of it, oh, get your shit together, but still understand people have to process their feelings. So moving on, what's her name? Erin and her husband, they end up, just having a little a little dinner, where the rich folks eat, or at maybe at the spot that they ate when they first met each other. And they go in, and her dress was a little, that whole side ass cake was out, y'all. Like, the whole thigh meat ass ratio was popping through. Yeah, it was coming through there. And um what was it, so yeah, they sit down and they're ordering stuff and just talking about how they met, and they're in the Jewish community, which they kind of do, basically kind of, sometimes of course it's like arranging people, where it's like, oh my god, my cousin's single, your cousin's single, like, let's set them up on a blind date. Like, there's a lot of communities where, like, Asian communities, the Indian community, the Jewish community, they real heavy in now arranging marriages. But Erin, she got it made, because she got her a ball of shakala, because later on in their dinner, they were talking about getting a drink or whatever. I guess the one he ordered he didn't like. And the lady was like, oh, he was like, let me just get like a something on the rocks. And she's like, do you want a big rock or a small one? Basically, they're talking about like those big circular ice cubes. Like, basically, it don't melt as fast in the alcohol, basically. And he was like, yeah, give me a big rock. And Aaron was like, ooh, I want a big rock too. And he's like, oh, you want a big rock? See, in my head, my dirty mind, y'all know where the hell I went to, because the way she said it, like, my mind ain't just dirty for no reason. It was like the way she said it. She's like, I want a big rock. And he's like, oh, you want a big rock? Like that, immediately I was like, now y'all talking about rocks? Like, are y'all sure y'all talking about rocks? But no, baby, he was talking about rocks, okay? He said, you want a big rock? And then he slapped that damn box on the table like a damn draw four and Uno, like a Uno out. He said, here you go. Open it up, and bitch, when I say big rock, big motherfucking rock, y'all. That hole was sparkling. Erin's face was like, are you kidding me? It was the way he pulled it out though, just so nonchalant, like, you want a big rock? Here you go. Like, and it's so funny because when they walked in, they were asking to get their coats checked. He was like, she was like, just check your coat. And he was like, no, no, like I just like having my coat with me. And we obviously see why it's because the damn the box was he wasn't gonna be able to fit that in his pocket. Is what I'm saying. He needed that in his coat, okay? And he pulled that out of his coat pocket and was like, "Uno, bitch, draw four, Uno out." And it was such a beautiful moment. And he was like, yeah, it was expensive, but she's worth it. Like Erin comes from money, and it's like this ain't nothing new. Like them just seeing, being around money, but like she was just shocked that like he got it. She was like, I'm almost mad because it's like, nigga, how much you spent on this? But at the end of the day, like, I'll be mad for like 2.5 seconds because, bitch, this is noise, okay? They got money. So yeah, moving on. So after that, Jessel, she's talking to her husband, and they're basically going over their children's school. Jessel is gonna kill me with these damn kids in this school. She wants to send them to the most expensive stuff, and her husband's like Googling the best, cheapest. I'm mad at him. Let me get the best for the lowest amount. Like, for real, for real. She's like, you can't want the best if you're not spending money. Yes, the best within a certain budget, ho. Like, we got money, but the only way to keep the money is to not spend it. You trying to send these kids to school where it's, $30,000 a month and shit. Like, I agree with Pavi. Like, these kids can't even read yet. They're not even talking. They babbling. Y'all quite literally need a daycare for them just to, like, piss shit and play with blocks. Like, no. So she's like, oh, we can go to this one. And they have schools and, like, all over the world, and you can have them speak different language. She's like, look, they got Mandarin, and he's like, okay. And she's like, look, but you can learn it in their culture, be immersed in it. He was like, they can barely speak English. What are you talking about? Like, then she's like, well, what about Montessori? $62,000, but they'll give you an iPad and they'll give you this. He was like, so I'm gonna spend $62,000 just to get an iPad? Like, no, like, miss me with that. And all Jessel can think about is, oh, where you go to school, it's like a status symbol. Like, she wants the status symbol. Of course, when people be like, oh, my kids go here, my kids go here, she wants to be able to say it too. She wants to be in that clique of parents where it's like, oh yeah, well, my child goes to so and so, the same school that Tom Hanks' kids go to, or the same school that Tom Cruise's kids go there. She wants to be able to say that. But Jessel, baby, you got time. Your kids literally ain't. They just turned one from what it looked like, so you got time to put them in schools that that you want to, like, as you say, rub elbows, with the rich folks, as in, like, not what but who Girl, you got time. But for right now, if you don't put these kids in a school where they can just get supervision while they asses take a nap, like, cut it out. So Erin, she's basically talking with her husband about the party. They eating them big ass bougie salads that we see all the time, like the Kardashians and them be eating. And they're basically going over everybody with the party. Ubah calls. Basically, she's sick, and she's like, damn, girl. She like, you the one that had me spend on this extra money, or like had me get all this extra money, like get this $1,000,000 worth of jewelry. You ain't even gonna let me gonna be able to see it. Yeah, so that's basically what happened there. Everybody's getting ready. Jenna, she has her goddaughter like helping her in the closet, like pick clothes. They're playing dress up. Jenna's closet is bad. She got all the good shit. Almost like Diary. The Devil Wears Prada. Just like that closet, just full of Gucci, Chanel, Louis Prada. Okay. Jessel, she's getting ready with her husband. She nervous because Pavi went shopping on his own, and she like, "What you get?" And he pulled out a nice little, maroon wine color double breasted suit. She was like, "Wait a minute." She was like, "Okay, She's like, sometimes I worry about Pavi because she's like, before we got together, he didn't care, but now He wants to get his eyebrows waxed. Now he wants to do all these things. I had to tell him to stop it now. Like, she worried that Pavi might start feeling himself a little bit, okay? Um, and she's like, oh my God, this wine tastes like hairspray. I can't tell if it's like just bad wine or what. Bitch, you literally are in the midst of getting your hair flat or in the hairspray. That's why this shit tastes like hairspray. Ain't bad wine, girl. Come on. Um, so yeah, everybody's getting ready. Um, and it's party time. So everybody showed up for the party, and everybody walk in, and it's beautiful, it's magical, it's whatever big museum esque type place, and people were making fun. Jessel was like, when they got the invitations, and at the bottom of the invitations were all these sponsors, and so it's like, am I really mad at Erin? Because at the end of the day, like, why spend your own money when you can get it for free? Like, like, but was it like really an engagement party though, as much as it was like an event for the people? Like, as much as it was an event for your sponsors to have places to shop, essentially, because that's what it looked like. Because when you saw stuff like just set up in like different areas, it really looked like a business, like almost shout out to Tisha, a business expo. That's what it kind of low key looked like. You walk in, the people who did the flowers, they got a little tag on it, the drinks and all the different stuff. Like, they had their name on it and everything. So it's like, yeah, would you think it's kind of a little bit tacky? But also at the same time, like, I like the bargaining of it all. Like, bitch, why am I spend money when people wanna give it to me for free just for the exposure? So I mean, hey, like, teachers on. So everybody's showing up. Brynn, she got her shades on. She's like, yeah, I just wanted to come here just because. She's like, yeah, this party, like, I get bored really fast. And what'd she say? She was basically like, how did she say it? She basically was like, yeah, I just really kind of like, deal with this because, like, she was like, how did she say it? Basically, to the extent of like, yeah, I'm coming here looking good, sunglasses on, just because, in situations like this, I'm dealing with, try to be, plus make sure like I be high to enjoy it. And she was like, gotta keep the glasses on because, bloodshot, like, I had to bloodshot. Basically, she's like, let me take this edible because these rich folks don't know how to party, and at least let it make it entertaining for me. But the problem was, now your inhibitions is lowered, and now you just starting to speak a little too freely at this event, girl. So everybody was showing up, everybody looked good. Erin dressed, dripped in diamonds. Daddy was like, yo, what's up? He brought a friend there, and all Erin's happy is the fact that she looked in his age range. She was just happy to see that she was in his age range. So clearly, Daddy's one of them old men who be out here just spending money on these little tenderonis, basically. But she was like, yeah, glad to see his friend. At least she's age appropriate. But she had titty out all night, and so size, she looked good. I actually really like Jessel's outfit. Brynn, she's like, oh my God, the kids are running. It's because I look like the stepmother from Parent Trap. Brynn just has really good, like, little one-liners or whatever. Oh, Brynn was engaged 3 times. I forgot about that. She said at the beginning, but she ran basically, like, she's like, just wouldn't work. Like, I wasn't ready. They were like, why wouldn't you just say no? And she's like, it's kind of hard to look somebody in the eyes and say no when they're proposing to you, which I understand. Like, especially if they do it in front of anybody, you would rather just say yes and then like a month later come out the blue and just tell everybody, oh, we just realized it just wasn't gonna work. Like, I feel like it's just a little less of a blow, because it definitely would be more of a blow for everybody to watch this man get down on one knee and you say no. Like, that is something else. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. Hold on, y'all. Just a second. Um, so yeah. Everybody was at the party. Um, talking to Erin. Jenna, she came grabbing up the butt cheek and she was like, is this girl even gonna recognize, like, notice me? Because Jenna was grabbing ass for a quick second, and then finally Erin was like, who touching my butt? And Jenna came in. The security guard, he had to be all up on Erin's ass because, bitch, that jewelry is expensive. And so now the girls, they're just sitting there listening to everybody give speeches. And they're like, oh my God, speech after speech after speech. Everybody want to talk. They over there chit chatting. Of course, Sai asked Erin, bitch, is it gonna be food there? Ubah has the same thing. Erin, you're not getting it. These hoes is not like you where they munching on crackers, almonds, and air all day. Bitch, where is the food? Food, not nibblers, not these little bacon wraps, pieces of kale. Food with substance. Sai is on Erin's ass about this food, y'all. She said, I want Nobu. What time does Nobu close? Nobu, like, when does it close? Like, she was on her ass. Then all of a sudden, the sister comes over trying to clearly get some shit started. She was like, oh my God, like, y'all just letting you know you're being rude. Like, you're kind of like arguing with each other. And Brynn was like, ain't nobody arguing. She's like, we're just talking. She's like, well, just to let you know, like, it's a little rude. And she was like, Brynn snapped back like, girl, so you gonna tell everybody else at the party? Because we ain't the only ones talking. Jenna, you could tell she tries everything to avoid confrontation. She was just like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And it's like, sometimes Jenna, avoiding confrontation only makes more confrontation. But I'm glad Brynn was just like, girl, don't be trying to come over here and shush us. Then the mom came over and she kind of stuck it to her, was like, yeah, we're not supposed to be talking. Like, her sister came over and the mom kind of was like, oh, my bad or whatever. But Brynn was like, girl, if you telling us to be quiet, what about everybody else at the party? Because they weren't the only ones talking during these long ass speeches everybody was doing. So Erin, oh shit, y'all, Brynn, she was kind of cracking on the husband, y'all. She was like, well, when you guys get divorced, you can all still be single. And Jessel kind of was like, ugh. And he was like, well, that's kind of like year 20. You could tell he was just trying to like roll it off. You just kind of roll it off, just not make it awkward. He's like, well, yeah, that's more like year 20 type stuff. She's like, well, he's like, it's not really a contract. He's like, no, I signed the contract. Like, so for real, like, just as long as you just don't say, like, mess up and say, oh, yes, Brynn, I take you, Brynn. And Jess was like, let's go around and, see who else is at the party. Like, Brynn definitely kind of was like, her big toe was tippy-toeing over the line just to touch. Yeah, it's jokes and everything, but it definitely could be taken to be inappropriate. Okay, it was close, Jessel. Like, it definitely was giving flirt manner. It definitely was. And even Erin was like, don't hit on my dad, because she was like, oh, where's your dad? She's like, stop, Brynn, don't hit on my dad, because the dad definitely would have took it. Just for real. He would have left that old lady at that damn party and took Brynn home. Brynn is just a flirt, y'all. She is. And it's like, girl, all them single people that was there, Jenna kind of find out she broke up with her chick. She was like, oh, that guy's handsome. So Sai's like, oh, would you ever get with a man again? She was like, if it's the right one, She's like, but wait, like, what about your girl? She's like, well, that's over. And she finally let the girls know. They're like, oh my God, what happened? She's like, yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. She finally, like, kind of like, broke down, was vulnerable. And Sai was happy about that. She was like, it was kind of good to have Jenna let us in, and everything like that. And then they just kind of ended the episode with Abe, Erin doing their speech. And by that time, Sai was out of there. She was like, all right, y'all, she ain't even gonna know I'm gone. But bitch, they noticed you were gone, because right after that, they all ended up taking pictures to get together. And Erin's like, where's Sai? And Sai was out of there, okay? She was gone. I got my check and I was gone off of next Friday. She was gone. She was not here for this shit. But yeah, you guys, that was Real Housewives of New York. Y'all tell me what you feel about the episode. How do you guys feel about Erin having sponsors for her anniversary party? Was it given like tacky, or was it given, bang for your buck? How do you guys, was Brynn stepping over the line, flirting with the husband? Was she flirting too much with Erin's husband? What do you guys think? And of all the girls, who's your favorite? Jessel, Erin? I kind of feel like Erin and Jessel gonna keep beefing with each other. But yeah, you guys, do y'all guys feel like Brynn was inappropriate? And do you guys feel like Aaron was a little tacky for having sponsors, or was it given, the price is right? All right, was it given money savvy? I appreciate you for tuning in. I'll catch you later. Bye.